Hey everyone, welcome to the Crypto Beach, where we do interviews with everyday people to understand their journey into crypto. Today, we've got Angela. She's going to share how she got into crypto. She's going to share some tips, and she's going to talk about some trends that are really interesting. So without further ado, Angela, go right ahead.
Okay, my journey into crypto took a long time. I'm actually a non-traditional sculpted cloth abstract painter. I create artwork on canvas and found objects, and I've done that for 20 plus years. So I have been doing my marketing since 2012, traditionally by applying for exhibition and approaching galleries and doing a lot of the traditional marketing things on social media. A lot of my sales come from social media by constantly posting works in progress and things like that. A very traditional way of marketing. And in 2020, I've established now locally, and I've done a lot of regional work. I've started doing national exhibition. I'm a member of the National Association of Women Artists. And I met a gallerist in Italy who started doing my work online through Artsy and Kunis for my traditional work in 2020. But in like the crypto stuff that I do now, I have my best friend, Robin D. Cox, who is a research queen, who saw an article on NFT and said, I got to do this. And so she started researching Coinbase and wallets and OpenSea and all the different blockchains that are available. Invested in some Ethereum and said, Angela, you have got to do this. You have got to get into NFT. This is how we're going to get our work in front of a international international audience. So we actually did that. We just a few weeks ago, we got into selling NFT.
Wow. So it sounds like, she kind of gave you some insight about the space and you had some trust in her ability to kind of point you in that direction.
Well, in the research that I've done, I'm seeing this as the future of the art world. We're looking at cryptocurrency, we're looking at NFT, we're looking at an international audience. This is the future of where we're headed in the art world. So to be part of that was important. I think that's where we should be headed.
Yeah. So, you had mentioned sort of having that experience in the traditional art world. You had mentioned that there's the art and then there's the marketing. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when I first started marketing, I was told that it was 50% talent and 50% marketing. Yeah. And I have a problem with that because I think it's more about an 80-20 split. We're looking at 20% talent, but 80% of that is marketing. If you don't get your work in front of people, then they're not going to know you exist. They don't know your artwork. They don't know who you are as an artist. You have to get your work in front of people. And in order to do that, traditionally, was marketing. And this is an entirely different avenue to get your work in front of people. It's an exciting community that is available to us now that wasn't available before.
So, in the past, how would you get your work to be internationally recognized?
So, traditionally, you'd have to apply to art fairs, exhibition, communities like the National Association of Women Artists, and those are how you get your work in front of people. I did a lot of local shows where you would stand there in front of your artwork and say, "This is what we do," or I would go nationally. I've traveled a lot to art fairs and exhibition and open studios and artist talks and things like that to get your work in front of people, but it's still limited to the people who physically see you. So it's not, this is a much broader audience, because even when I was working with the gallery in Italy, for instance, he put his work on Artsy and Kunis, so I had access to it online, but it was still not in front of collectors and buyers unless he put it on his site. So it still doesn't have the audience that you could have through social media or through communities that create art, like Twitter and Discord, and things that Christina Flynn was talking about with the communities that we're creating through NFT.
Yeah. So on that topic of Discord, and it's almost like there's a whole new collector emerging, and how we communicate to collectors is changing too. Would you say that's the case from your perspective?
No, absolutely. I think that collectors are also artists. I think in the community, especially in the NFT community that I belong to, like Discord and things, people will know you as a person and then go and check out your art and buy it. So if you make a sale and you post that, and people will back you up and sell it, go and buy your work too, and then you turn around and buy their work, and it's more of a community that way too. That is Discord's actually a lot of fun. I hadn't really played on Discord much, and I got in there, and they're a great set of people. Funny, and we laugh so hard, it's great. But that community feeling was, something that we wouldn't have traditionally. I have great friends here locally who are all artists, and we all participate in art shows and things. But now I have friends like Aesthetic, who's in Italy, and Germany, and all across the United States, because I know people now that I never would have met otherwise.
Wow. That's a really awesome. That's really awesome. It broadens your horizons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me as an artist, I'm expanding also into digital, which is something that I hadn't played with before. I mean, I had some, but now it's like learning the programs and the technology that we could use to create. And I take my 3D objects and I texture them with my analog work. So it's been a lot of fun to learn how to do that kind of thing too. And you learn from other people who are also creating. So it's a good thing to learn, especially those of us who are kind of set in our ways and have to grow as artists. It's been really great.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like increasing your surface area. So, you have, like you said, a broader audience, and it's
exactly
to, a more sustainable kind of approach to art so maybe the artist won't be starving forever.
Exactly. Those of us who, without sort of major financial backing, we have to do what we do. You have to do your own marketing, be your own voice.
Exactly. All right. Well, do you have any other parting words, anything else you want to share before we wrap up this fantastic interview?
Well, I wanted to say that the community spirit, I think, is something that they talked about in the interview that they did with Object, the person who was represented Object at the artist talk for Art Basel Miami. And she was saying that she was able to see art from artists that she would never have been able to see if she hadn't had access to NFT. And I thought that was kind of telling as to what's really happening in this communities that of NFT is become an international thing that we never would have been able to get our work in front of people if we hadn't had this opportunity.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I hope that I know that this is the beginning of something that's going to fundamentally change the way that we interact with art. 50 years from now, it's going to be, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, because, it's a superior way to market. It's a superior way to reach people, and it's a superior way to receive the transaction. So
exactly. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be an artist, to be involved in an international community. It's great. It's a great time to be alive.
For sure. That's why I got you on here, man. So thanks so much for your time. And
thank you for having me.
All righty. Bye-bye.